So, hi everybody. My name is Mary Pierre. I'm the Vice President of PISA, and today I'm really honored to be interviewing Max Taylor. He's a former Bishop student. He went from social media presence to running small businesses to be the youngest candidate to run for the Halifax mayor position, if I'm not wrong.
That's right.
That's right. How are you doing, Max?
I'm doing fantastic. How you doing?
I'm doing perfect. So first of all, we were all wondering, how did you went from being super like TikTok famous to run for the mayor of Halifax?
Well, I think I was, it's a strange thing because like during the quarantine, I was so bored that I think so I didn't lose my mind. I had to do a bunch of different things, right? And I think that's why I started the TikTok thing in general. And then after that, someone told me around 9 months ago, they said, you could run for mayor. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting thing. I just didn't really think anything of it, right? Boom, I see a video clip of an NBA player. His name's Chris Paul. He's on TV talking about the importance of getting his teammates to vote. So I was thinking, you know what, damn, like, voting is a huge thing. Like, people should really vote. So I looked up the stats in Halifax. I thought, okay, what's going on in Halifax? How many people are voting here? Turns out, it's incredibly low. Nobody votes here. So I'm thinking, okay, what if I ran? This is how it started. I started thinking, okay, what if I ran and people wanted to vote to get the voting numbers up so I wouldn't win? Okay, that's amazing. Let's do that. And then as I started running, I'm like, no. Let's run to make sure people vote in general. Let's get some serious issues on the table, because here's the truth. Like, I knew I wouldn't win from the start because the mayor is an amazing mayor, no doubt. But he just has such a high approval rating amongst, the older generations that, like, I think I just wanted to bring younger people in to vote, right? So I think once I realized how easy it was to run, I just threw my hat in the ring. And now hopefully other people see how easy it is to run and more people run in the next election.
Wow, that's very impressive. So could you talk, you said like you actually, when you start getting into it, like you were like, let's bring like real issues to the table. So could you talk a little bit about your platform and the problem that you wish to face if you're elected, you lost, but well, can you tell us like, why did you choose like those to tackle those issues and why are they important to you?
Well, here's the thing. I'm thinking the three issues in Halifax that I chose to choose. Wow, what a way to put that. Were affordable housing solutions, environmental solutions, and transit systems. More specifically, accessibility in transit systems. So that means, like, what I'm saying is, like, for affordable housing as a student, we can't afford always $3,000 a month apartments. And yet I know a lot of rich developer people, and they keep putting up new condominiums, new luxury apartment buildings that are all worth $3,000 a month. And I'm thinking, okay, this is one of the most prolific university towns in Canada. Why are we putting up $3,000 a month apartments? Yeah, students want to come here. People keep talking about how students want to come to Halifax, but no one's talking about the fact that they can't afford to stay. The environment was a huge thing. I think every city in the world needs to deal with the environment. I mean, every city pretends to, but like we actually have to, or else things are gonna really go downhill, right? And the third was accessibility, because I found out in Halifax we spend millions of dollars on excessive buses for people in wheelchairs. And let's say if you're in a wheelchair, you want to go to your friend's house for dinner that night, too bad. You have to book an excessive bus 7 days in advance, right? And I'm thinking that is ridiculous. 7 days in advance, we spend millions of dollars on these bus fleets and nothing can happen. So there's ways to change that. Those three things are important to me, and I have the mayor's phone number now, and I've been texting them, and hopefully if I keep blowing them up or going to these council meetings, if I don't see change, I'm going to be very, very annoying. If I don't see it, but it's been the first couple of weeks, so I can't expect anything yet, but if I don't see it, I'm going to annoy them so hard.
So you just mentioned actually that you're in contact with the actual mayor and like you actually want to push for change. So how could you explain that? Why would you say like people you should run? Like it is important, and like are you actually now considering like a career in politics? Like
It's a tough thing to say. I mean, I think the political world is definitely a scary one. It's definitely pulls you down under the water and you have to swim up the entire time with a brick on your ankle. But it's fun in a way too, right? Because you do learn a lot. I mean, you meet a lot of people along the way. But I don't know if a career yet is what I'm thinking, right? Because, I mean, here's the truth. I mean, I make poop jokes, and that's how I make my living most of the time, right? So to transition from that to politics is just a huge uphill battle. And sometimes I want to take a break from climbing, but if I'm going to do it, I kind of have to strike while the iron's hot. So like over these next couple of weeks is when I really have to decide if I'm going to continue to pursue it. But I think it's still up in the air for now. I'm thinking.
Okay. And so what is your next project then?
I think the next project is continuing to just work on my advertising portfolio. I've been working on a series of children's books that hopefully I
Okay.
can work with the government or work with some people to get published. It's like literacy for like social issues for kids. They're actually pretty dank. I gotta be honest. Like they're pretty dank. Me and my buddy George are writing them. George Tanous, shout out George Tanous. And hopefully we can get those done. But that being said, even tonight, like really right after this meeting, I'm gonna go meet with the potential premier of Nova Scotia,
Wow.
and I'm gonna see what the hell he wants. Because if he's saying, "Hey, we'll give you a job. You can be a janitor at the office," I'll say, "Okay, I'm taking it. I'll take it right now," because need that cash. But it's weird because you definitely meet some people along the way, and hopefully I keep meeting people. But the next project's probably gonna be the children's books and the advertising.
Wow, that's very impressive too.
I guess we'll
So
see. I guess we'll see.
yeah, so I mean, you seem to like having so many projects, but like, so you're not like you're still like thinking about the politics thing, but it's not your main priority.
It's not my main priority. I think I kind of want to dip my toe in as many different pools as possible. I think the whole thing with COVID is kind of like the world's at a standstill, and some people see it as, oh my God, I can have a huge head start because nobody else is running right now, you know?
Yeah.
And
So
that's the thing.
I mean, there is this traditional idea that young people are not experienced enough to be involved in politics. Did you feel that at any point during your experience? Do you disagree? Do you agree?
I kind of disagree, and I'll tell you why. I think it's just because, I mean, obviously I'm biased because I am a young person, but I mean, that being said, people would tell me constantly, you're too young to do it, too young to do it, too young to do it. I say, okay, well, if not now, when? At what point am I ready to go, right? I mean, if you look at politics right now in Halifax, you look at politics in Montreal, you look at politics anywhere, there is a ton of corruption because people who stay in these communities stop learning about how things are supposed to be done, and they start doing things the way they have been done, right? And that's not always the best way. So they will get corrupt. I mean, once you stay in politics for too long, you got too many friends in the business. Once you got too many friends in the business, it's too hard to make change because you're too scared to knock on somebody's door and say, hey, smarten up, right? So the thing about being new to politics is you can go up to anybody at any point. Like AOC, for example, in the States. She can go up to anyone. She's like, I don't care who you are. I've never met you before. I don't care what business you own. I'm just new to politics. You need to change something. Let's get it changed. And I think being young in politics kind of does two things. Number one, it gets other young people inspired. And number two, it says, I'm a fresh face. I don't care who you are. Something's going to change. And that's an important thing for people to understand.
And I feel like right now that's pretty much like you're a role model, I think, for young people who want to get involved in politics. That shows like maybe even if you didn't win, you actually, I think your goal was achieved. Like the vote, the percentage of vote went up. Did it?
Yeah, that was the one goal. The one goal was to raise those percentages up. And it went up from anywhere from 10 to 20%, somewhere in between there, which is amazing. I was like, oh my God, awesome.
Yeah. So
It feels
it's
weird to celebrate a loss, but I was hyped.
I mean, the goal of your campaign was to involve more young people to vote actually in the
Yeah.
municipal election. And I mean, you did it like perfectly. I think you got so many votes. And I actually have another question. If you could tell a BU politics student any piece of advice, what would it be?
I think it's not only your right to vote, it's your right to get involved at all levels. So if you want to get in a career in politics, literally just do it. I mean, just get out there and put your name on a ballot. Just get out there and make phone calls. I mean, it's a lot of these people's jobs to just answer the phone, right? And sometimes it's going to be annoying. They're going to brush you off. But if you call 2 times a day, eventually they're going to hear what you have to say. So just really annoy the crap out of people. And any position that you can run for, run. I mean, there's a girl in BC right now in Saanich who's running for an MLA too. It's just like, it's unbelievable, right? Like
Isn't she
everybody's
18,
running.
right?
She's 18. Yeah, I was texting her yesterday. I was like, oh my God, how'd you do this?
Really?
Like at 18, I'd be too scared to do it. No way, right? I had to wait a couple of years, but there's always going to be positions you can run for in government, and there's no age cap on them. Find out what they are and just do it. Win or lose, you'll learn so much.
That's that's very true. And I mean, we're seeing it right now. Like you said, like there's this girl also running, but like I think right now we're seeing a wave of young people like being eager to get involved in politics to see change, because it has been like, I feel like it has been something that was kind of inaccessible for young people, always been something like for old people to get involved, like kind of an end carrier kind of thing. But those issues are actually like, they're happening right now and they need to be tackled. And I feel like having young people being involved maybe help changing some stuff. Um,
Yeah,
and
absolutely, absolutely.
and I mean, could you explain why your emphasis on the importance of getting you to vote? Like, I mean, you could have like, there could have been like a billion of things you could have tackled, but why choosing to use like your not your fame, but like, you know, deciding tomorrow, you know what, I can do it. I'm gonna get young people to vote. Like, why was this
Yeah,
so important for you?
I think number one is because I'd never voted before. No way. Like I'd never done it. Right. In fact, I didn't give like I didn't give a damn about politics at all. And that's just the truth. I didn't care about politics. I had nothing to do with it. And then I started researching and saying, okay, I probably should care. And I did more research and I found that if you don't vote when you're 18, odds are you're not going to vote in the next election. Odds are you're not going to vote in the next election. Odds are you're not going to vote in the next election. So my whole thing was just to inspire people who were young to vote in their first election, show them how easy the process was, and hopefully next time they put their hat in the ballot again. You know, I mean, it's important for people to vote. I was walking to a convenience store the other day, and I was asking the guy, you know, did he vote? He's from another country, Middle Eastern country. He looks at me. You know, we were laughing before this about something. Dead face, stone cold, no smile anymore. He points and goes, "Voting is the most important thing you will ever do." I was like, "All right, right on, man. Thank you." And then, you know, smiled again. But at that point, I realized we have a right to vote. So many people have sacrificed for us to be able to vote. And as young people, we have to start voting now because it does affect our lives directly, especially at a municipal level. So that's my whole point right there. Voting is important. Like the man at the convenience store said, it's the most important thing you'll ever do. You should do it. Simple as that.
And so what did you learn through that experience, from your campaign, from the beginning of the campaign through the election? Like, what did you learn through that?
I learned a couple different things. I mean, on a large scale thing, I learned how easy it is to get in the ears of people who seem so distant at first, like whether it be the mayor or the premier or pretty much anybody. Just like how easy it is to get in their ears if you really make the right moves. And on a personal level, I kind of learned, you know, how to deal with certain criticism, right? I mean, how to say, listen, because in politics, criticism's different, right? Like, so on social media or on YouTube or whatever the hell you're doing, if you read a comment that's criticizing you, it's like, all right, I don't have to read that. I'm done. Like, I don't need to read it. But in politics, you have to read it because inside some of that evil, I wouldn't say evil, but like really mean comments, like making fun of your whatever you're doing, there's going to be one gold nugget that you're like, wow, it's actually a really good idea. Like, I need that. So you have to read all the criticism. So it's just like about how to respond to it, right? And I think that's the most important personal thing I learned is how to deal with that and a large scale, how to get in people's ears. But I think I learned so much along the way. I mean, those are the two things that stand out right now, but just in general, you learn a ton. So I would tell anybody else to do this, like you have to at least try. Everybody at least try, like please.
And what is the thing you're the most proud of during this whole process?
I think I'm the most proud of voter turnout for sure, but I think I'm definitely the most proud of, you know, seeing my friends step up to the plate. And really, like a lot of my friends who, you know, love drinking beers and hanging out, you know, seeing them sitting down watching municipal debates or seeing them how we manage a Facebook page or delivering signs door to door. It was just like that's what I'm thinking proud of, like seeing my friends who are my age getting involved. Like it was just cool to see all my friends who like I've known as like not like idiots, but this like, you know, dudes who just kind of slack off, don't care. Just when they need to, they buckle down and they get the job done. It was really cool to see.
Well, I mean, the whole story is really, really impressive. And I really hope that it's going to inspire like other young people to get involved. And I mean, I kind of hope also that you're going to get involved a bit more in politics because I think your campaign like was really good. And I think most young people now can like they're watching this and like, okay, but I can, like, it's not
Yeah.
inaccessible. And I think that's what is the most amazing because like I know at the beginning people were like, oh, like you were TikTok famous in politics, like
Yeah.
actually it does, there's some kind of link. I mean, being able to attract people attention by any kind of sort, like by doing jokes or anything, doing videos, you're attracting like people attention.
Yeah.
And then when you go in the professional way to politics, it's the same way, but just in a different way for different matters. And I think you've done that really well. I mean, your goal was achieved. And I mean, just the fact that other like politicians are willing to like collaborate with you, work with you, that shows that you actually add an impact. And I think that's very impressive.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well, I think we went through all our questions. Thank you so much for accepting to have an interview with us. We're really grateful, especially because you went to Bishop too. So I think it's really nice for other students at Bishops to see what other students do. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me on. And I'm just telling everybody out there, wait for the prime minister election. It's coming.